Hello, Pocatello.
Hello, Pocatello.
Hello, Pocatello.
Hello, Pocatello.
This is Hello, Pocatello by Restyle Studios. I'm your host today, Amber Cook. And today's guest is Shantay Bloxham, the CEO of United Way Southeastern Idaho. Shantae, go ahead and say hello.
Thanks, Amber. I'm so excited to be here. I appreciate you inviting me. It means a lot to be here with you.
Well, we're very excited to have you. Well, let's dig right into it. So as someone who's lived in Pocatello for years, can you start by sharing what this community means to you personally?
Absolutely. When I think about Pocatello, what comes to mind is that Pocatello isn't just where I live. It's home in every sense of the word. It's where my husband and I have chosen to raise our family and where so many lifelong friendships have been formed, and also where I've had the great privilege of serving alongside some of the most passionate and dedicated people you'll ever meet. This community has shown up for me both personally and professionally time and time again. It's a place where people genuinely care, where collaboration is more than a buzzword, and where the belief that we're stronger together truly shows up in action. And I think, you see that every day. I see that every day, that collaboration isn't just a buzzword here in Pocatello. It shows up every single day in the work that we're doing and the events that we're putting on and how we're supporting this community. It's not perfect. No place is. But Pocatello is a community that continues to work hard to create opportunities for all. And that pride and possibility is what makes Pocatello so very special to me.
I love that and agree with you wholeheartedly. I love collaboration. Well, what's one of your favorite memories growing up or living in Pocatello that still makes you smile?
This was a tough one for me when I was looking through the questions. I'm like, man, it's so hard to pull out just one. But I think really some of my favorite memories growing up here are rooted in community, whether that was helping my grandmother from an early age put together rummage or bake sales at the church, or preparing and serving holiday meals at the Salvation Army. And I think those early experiences really showed me what the power of community and the importance of showing up for others truly means. And really that was kind of the spark that ignited in me for this love of service that I have that has been carried through for 41 years now.
Well, thank you, Grandma. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that you were doing that type of work when you were a kid.
Yeah,
it really does. It means a lot when you're a small child. You're like,
does.
wow, look at
And then we
everything
didn't
I'm
see it right. It was
capable
like, Grandma, we want to go play with our friends. But getting to be in this place in life now and looking back, what a cool experience is to have, and that my grandmother had enough foresight to know the importance of that, no matter how young we were, and that we weren't really taking away the valuable pieces of it just then, but it has carried on through my whole life.
Yeah. Who knew her teaching moments would last for your lifetime and benefit so many people in our community, to be honest, to be real, because you do so much.
I appreciate that a lot. It's who I am.
Yeah, it really is. That's why you and I get along so well.
That's it.
Well, you've dedicated much of your career to helping others. How did your journey in the nonprofit world begin?
Well, it's really kind of a funny story. Way back in 2007, that feels like eons ago, I stumbled across a newspaper ad. Believe it or not, back then, we still searched for job opportunities in the classifieds of the Idaho State Journal. And I came across a receptionist position for a place called SECA, Southeastern Idaho Community Action Agency. Had no idea what it was, what it did. All I knew is that at that time I was a new mom and I was ready to move into more stable employment with consistent hours, that didn't include nights and weekends and those kinds of things. And so I applied for the job. And while I didn't get the job as the receptionist, they did call me back a few months later and asked if I was interested in filling a seasonal position in the Energy Assistance Program, of which I knew nothing about. I eagerly said yes because I was ready to take that next step. And, SECA is complex. You're familiar with SECA. Mm-hmm. They have so much going on underneath the umbrella there. But what I knew from the first day that I left, my first day working at SECA, was that even though I didn't know everything that they did, I knew I had stumbled on a true gem in our community. And I just knew, it's just one of those intuitive things that you knew walking out and going home, that I had found my calling.
Yeah. And that's where the legacy began.
That's where the legacy began.
That is amazing. And SECA really does so much for our community.
So much.
I highly recommend, if you've never heard of SECA, which you probably have, definitely check out SECA. They help so many people. What inspired you to step into the leadership role at United Way? And how has being local shaped how you lead?
Well, honestly, the role at United Way, I didn't think was in my cards. If I'm being totally honest, I thought I would work at Sika until my dying day. That's one day you would just come into Sika and I'd be dead at my desk because I just, I just loved what I did and I love the people. I still love the people and what I was doing. But after I heard about the role at United Way, I found myself thinking about it constantly, more subconsciously than anything. And one morning I literally woke up with the United Way on my mind. And so it's one of those I call like a universal juju, kind of like, the universal things at play. And so I decided to inquire, trusting that my intuition and the universe was trying to tell me something that, perhaps this was the next step for me. And I've been at United Way just a little over 3 years now, and it's been amazing. And I feel like as a local, I believe that I carry a deep understanding of both our community's challenges, but also our community's strengths. And those two things really shape every decision that I make as a leader. But more than anything, it's the relationships that I've been able to build over the years through my time at Sika and being engaged with organizations like Businesswomen of Pocatello, the Chamber, and the like. And I believe that those relationships, they guide and ground me in everything that I do. And I believe that that's how we move forward together.
Wow. Well, and I can say as someone who's known you for a while, it's been inspiring to watch. I have definitely followed your journey, and I think it's awesome how much you motivate and encourage people, and you're a positive force for the community. And anybody that knows you or even doesn't know you, that they read your articles, they see the work that you're doing, they can see that. They can see your passion for the community, which is just amazing. I'm always inspired. So
thank you, Amber. I appreciate that. And I think that's a further emphasis because I certainly wouldn't have been able to have the opportunities that I did or been able to kind of spread my wings if it weren't for relationships. I have such a firm belief that relationships and connection, social connections is such a big catalyst in what we can do.
Yeah. And they picked the right person for the role because you really do put a lot of nurturing into your relationships, and it shows. It truly shows.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, for people who may not be familiar, what is the core mission of United Way of Southeastern Idaho?
Yeah. United Way is dedicated to building powerful partnerships that improve outcomes for children, families, and individuals in needs. So what that means is bringing together businesses, nonprofits, and individuals to address our region's most pressing issues like education, health, and financial stability.
That's awesome. That is amazing. And forgive me for asking this, but United Way is national, right?
United Way is a worldwide organization.
Worldwide.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think the easiest way to think about United Ways, because there's more than 1,100, across the globe, is like a franchise. So there's a worldwide organization, and then each local United Way, we're independent, we're private, we're governed by our own board of directors, and then we pay dues so that we have a collective brand and messaging and the like. So it functions much like a franchise would in the for-profit sense, but in the nonprofit sense, if that makes sense.
Well, I hear a lot. I hear you speaking about Alice. Yeah. I've been to a few different talks where you were the keynote speaker, and Alice seems to be something that comes up a lot. And so I would love to talk about it. Can you explain what Alice is and why this group is so vital to the Pocatello-Chubbuck area?
Absolutely. Alice really is the heart of what we do at the United Way of Southeastern Idaho. Every decision that we make, every strategic plan that we're building, everything, literally every step that we take is with Alice at the forefront of all of that. And Alice stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, but Employed. So these are our friends and neighbors who are working hard, often in multiple and essential roles, but still struggle to afford basic needs like housing, childcare, healthcare, and transportation. Alice families earn too much to qualify for traditional state and federal assistance programs, but still not enough to achieve financial stability. And so Alice is a framework, I guess you could say. It's really a movement, and it was birthed through Rutgers University. So there's statisticians and all the data people. I am not the data people, so I'm so glad that we have the data people. But really, sourcing information from the American Community Survey, the census, local local and state, surveys and things like that to really understand who is Alice. And I don't know about you, but when I say Alice, immediately you're putting that to a person, right? And so I think that what we're able to do through the Alice movement is personalize what financial insecurity looks and feels like versus just saying financial instability or poverty. And so it really helps us connect on a deeper level, I think, anyways. But what we know about Alice is that we'll find Alice in nearly every single sector of our community. They're holding up the very systems that we depend on every day. Our early childhood providers, our in-home healthcare workers, the person, in gas stations and grocery stores and the like. So really holding up the systems we depend on every single day. And what we know about Alice is that many of them are just one $400 unexpected expense from facing financial crisis, of which if there weren't safety net programs in place through, the many and amazing partners of United Way and so many more across our region, they may never recover from those financial crises. So that's why Alice matters so much. When Alice families struggle, our whole family or our whole community feels it. But when we support Alice, when we build policies, programs, and pathways that help Alice families move from surviving to thriving, the benefits ripple far and wide.
They really do. And there are a lot of people that, if they knew about these types of programs, whether they want to contribute or they may need the services, just having the United Way and having those resources makes such an impact. It really does.
It really does.
So, I've been in vulnerable situations in my life, and sometimes once you're there, it's hard to dig yourself back out, no matter how hard you try.
That's it.
You
can only work so many hours in a day. You can only get so many other jobs while still raising a family.
That's how my business started. Yeah. Exactly. I was like, I can't get a third job, so I'm going to start a business, and I really think that knowing that people can make that connection and have those resources or can refer those resources makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
It's just educating people and letting people know that, these programs are there. Yeah. Well, as someone who is deeply embedded in the community, where do you see the greatest needs and also the greatest strengths within this region?
Well, Amber, when I was thinking about this, it's really hard to kind of pluck it out as one singular thing when we talk about needs. And so I think the best way to sum it up is that one of the biggest challenges we're facing right now is the growing gap between the needs in our community and the resources available to meet them. While the needs continue to increase, whether it's for affordable housing, access to childcare, mental health support, or basic financial stability, the funding and infrastructure to address those issues are often plateauing or even shrinking. And so it's a tough reality for both families and service providers. But despite those challenges, our community's greatest strength continues to be the people. This is a community that steps up time and time again with heart and a genuine desire to help their neighbors.
And that's why we love it.
That's why we love it. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're here.
Yeah. This entire movement was started because I know there are so many of us, including everybody here. We see that. We see the potential, and we see the genuine care in the people in this community. The people of Pocatello are the genuine treasures.
It's so true.
I love that. I love that you just said that, because that's our mission statement. Yes. It really is. So what do you feel makes Pocatello a unique place to build partnerships and drive change?
I think it's our size. Because we're small enough to know each other by name, but we're big enough to drive real impact. Because when partnerships happen here, they're personal. And that makes collaboration more authentic and powerful. And I kept thinking, I feel like I need to expand more about this, but that's just simply it. Mm-hmm. We're small enough to know each other by name, and that when we're building these partnerships, they're personal because we're personally invested, or we've been personally touched by that. Or I can call you up and say, Amber, we've got this. We have a shared passion for this. How can we put our heads together to help put solutions in place? Yeah.
Well, anytime you need to do that, my number. That's my favorite. Well, my next question kind of touches on that too, how United Way emphasizes collaboration. So can you share how local businesses, schools, or other nonprofits have come together to move the needle?
Absolutely. This is probably one of my most favorite things to get to be in this space. when I was at Sika, really working more boots on the ground and, and getting the services into the hands of the people who need them most. And coming to the United Way, it's been more from a community approach, through these cross-sector collaborations. And me, I'm such a social butterfly and I love to just be connected to everybody. And so it makes sense that I'm here, But I think our business community is incredibly committed to supporting the nonprofit sector. There is a genuine recognition that nonprofits play a vital role in the health, stability, and future of our communities. And I think that shared value shows up through funding, volunteerism, and strategic partnerships. And what's especially unique about our region is the nonprofit sector. We don't operate in silos. Instead, we're intentional. And I think you can speak to the truth in this. We're intentional about being bridges to each other, whether that's through referrals, collaborating on grants and programs, and through that, we ensure that every single dollar and service stretches as far as possible for those who need it most. And that level of trust and coordination just isn't something you see everywhere. Yeah. Through the roles and the organizations that I've served in, I've had the opportunity to travel the country to conferences and things like that. And people were always so envious, if I can just be honest, about the level of collaboration that exists among the nonprofit sector here in Southeastern Idaho, because we're genuinely interested in understanding, okay, here's a need or there's a problem or whatever, and reaching out to our community to understand, is there somebody who's already working to do that? And how can we, uplift what they're doing? Because, I'm not the expert in food insecurity, but we have the Idaho Food Bank, and they do an amazing job at pooling those resources and getting food out to the people who need it most. And so how can we support them instead of standing up a separate thing, right? And so also this amazing collaboration that we have among the nonprofit sector ensures that we don't have duplication of services. And again, that every dollar that's raised or brought in through the nonprofit sector is maximized.
That's amazing.
It really is.
That is so cool. And I've witnessed that firsthand. Like when you collaborate with the Bannock Youth Foundation, yep. I've seen a few things. One of my favorite United Way events is the murder mystery dinner.
So fun.
I can't help it. I'm a theater kid at heart. A couple of my friends, the last time I went was the pirate one.
Oh, that was a wild year. We really embraced the pirate theme, didn't we?
I know. Like I said, someday I'm going to get over my stage fright and you guys can hit me up because I love theater. And
Say no more. We're getting ready to pull the actors and actresses together. So
bad timing on my part. No, I thought it was so cool. And just how much everybody got into it. You can tell the community loves this event. And it was my first time. And I just remember being like, this is the coolest thing ever. I feel like I have to come to this every year. And you guys sell out. It is such a fun event.
It's a lot
Beauty
of fun.
and the Brunch.
Yeah.
You can't go to Beauty and the Brunch without tissues.
Right.
Just a warning. If you go to Beauty and the Brunch, take a pack of tissues with you.
It's so true.
Because it's going to get to your heart. Those are just a couple of my favorites. So that's amazing.
You guys
bring the energy for sure. Every event
we always say we bring
to.
the party, bring food, maybe a little booze and some music, and you're destined to have a good time.
And the decorations.
Don't forget the
decorations.
Wendy, who used to be on our team, she's living the semi-retired life, but all the just what comes out of her brain is just
I know.
Blows
She used
me
to work
away.
for Pier 1. It's in her. It's ingrained in her.
It is ingrained
so I was
in
about
her.
to bring Wendy up too.
Yeah.
I think she still does the windows at MIP.
She does.
Doesn't she?
Yep.
So MIP Metaphysical.
Yep.
Go look at the windows
there.
on Arthur. I don't know the street address, but MIP Metaphysical. Go look at the windows and you can see Wendy's work. Well, so say someone is new to Pocatello or is just starting to get involved. What is a good first step to engage with the United Way's work?
Oh my gosh. I think there are so many meaningful ways to get involved, not necessarily just with what we have going on through the United Way, but as we were talking earlier, there's so many ways to get involved in this amazing community. But I think some of the good places to start is by joining one of our affinity groups, Women United, which you mentioned, the Murder Mystery and the Beauty and the Brunch. Those are all events put on by Women United. And so Women United is an affinity group of United Way, but it's really a community-led organization, if you will, where our mission is to, volunteer through projects or fundraising or things like that to help the women and children serving organizations in our community. Another affinity group that we stood up just this last school year is Student United. So if you're new coming to our community to attend Idaho State University, I highly encourage you to reach out and get involved with Student United. And so what we're able to do through that partnership, as you know, Dr. Wagner, President Wagner, has a deep commitment to supporting the mental health and wellness of the whole student. And I think Student United serves that need so well because it's a bridge between, the campus community and the broader community, and how they can take what they're learning, engage, and through our early learning collaboratives and the like, we're able to pair those two together, and they get to engage or put on STEM activities or whatever to what we hope will be future Bengals. And so I just think that that's such a good marriage through there. And, we know we have a lot of people moving into our community to attend Idaho State University. Yeah. So Student United all the way. They'll have a table at Welcome Back Orange and Black that will be coming up here any minute because it's already August. I still can't believe that. But if that's something that would interest anybody, stop by and visit their booth because they're really doing some fun things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember at ISU, that is a time you want to be focused on your mental health.
Absolutely.
There was a meme that was one of my very favorites that I've ever shared about how, I think it was like, men don't make me cry, but a biology textbook has made me cry.
Right, yes.
And that's true.
It's true.
For me, I was a psych major and I switched to business, but still some of those classes were intense.
They
and that's
get
when
intense.
your mental health matters.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about that.
Yep.
You just told me something new that I'm going to have to go investigate.
It's still fairly new. So,
okay.
So you're not behind or anything like that. It is
well,
fairly
you let
new,
me know because I will plug that in the blog because I love that. I love that.
Will. And one more thing I just want to plug into as far as ways to get involved with United Way. I think a powerful way to get involved is through our community investment panels. So these panels are really at the heart of our grant making process. So at United Way, we collaborate with our business sector through workplace campaigns and the like, and really raise money all year round in what we call campaign season. And then those dollars all get pooled together from the amazing, generous people who live and work here in our community, and they're granted out to local nonprofits like SECA, the Pocatello Free Clinic, Idaho Food Bank, and the like. And it really is a community-led, community-driven process, and that stems from these community investment panels. And so in these panels, it's a hands-on, eye-opening way to learn about the incredible work happening across our region through the nonprofits, and to ensure that funding decisions are truly community-led. So I think that that's probably, especially if somebody's new here and just, really like, okay, this is my passion. Maybe this is what I did in the community that I used to live in, but I'm not sure how that, comes into Pocatello. I feel like this is a sure way not only to get connected to the work we're doing at United Way, but just to get connected to the community at large.
I love that. I actually just sent someone that way today.
Okay.
I recommended that she learn more about the United Way because she has a group of other women and they are working towards helping nonprofits and maybe helping with fundraising. So I said, you know what, you need to look into the United Way. And she's not from here. She's from the Boise area.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, you need to look into this.
Visit.
I basically was giving her some knowledge that I have on, I do a lot of nonprofit work, as you know. So I know where the needs are. I hear about the needs all the time. And so I was like, hey, I know that these agencies need a little extra support.
Yeah.
So I sent her your way.
Perfect. So, I love that. Thank you.
Is it Lupe that runs Women's United?
She helps kind of facilitate the back end with membership and things like that.
Okay.
So she can, and they're also through our website is just kind of a, fill out the form and then Lupe will send you back all of the information with the schedule. And the thing that I love most about Women United is it's come when you can, come where it makes sense. There's no real structure to it, I guess, for lack of a better word. It's just like
no pressure.
No pressure. Yeah. And we try to do coffee and connection. So we're hitting kind of the morning time, but then we do other things like socials or housewarming parties. You've participated in those where as a membership, we, bring items and maybe we're going to do housewarming baskets for women and children who are leaving domestic or sexual abuse circumstances. And oftentimes we know in those situations that you leave with nothing. And so we've made those and you've got to participate in those with us over at the park. And So a few different things. And really the Women United organization was never stood up to be a fundraising entity, but the membership drove it that way. So it's really just kind of organically stood up based on, what the membership wants to do and what they see is the best way that they can apply their time. And so that's really cool.
Well, and I would like to point out that a lot of those opportunities I don't know if I want to say network, but collaborate, honestly, meet people, meet friends.
People, yes.
That is the basis for Hello Pocatello. We want to connect others, and the United Way collaborating with other nonprofits and providing these opportunities for volunteer with no pressure, volunteer opportunities. It makes a big difference because people want to give back, but they may not be able to, commit to a monthly commitment. They may not be able to commit to, joining a club or a group. But all of these agencies doing all of this, it brings people together.
It really does.
And it's so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
I mean, the energy is so good. I do remember the music at that event and the pancake breakfast.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that'll be coming up soon too.
If you're going to feed us pancakes and give us coffee.
And we get to jam out with DJ Adrian at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right? I mean, and it was, I even at 8 o'clock in the morning the energy was amazing. So and it just knowing that you're a part of something bigger, but you're also making friends.
Yes.
You make a lot of friends. You do. That's how we reconnected.
Yeah, that's how we reconnected.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite part of these groups. Yeah, the relationship building for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, how can individuals access resources through United Way, whether they're struggling with bills, food insecurity, or housing?
Great question. While United Way isn't what we call a direct service provider, we partner with dozens of incredible nonprofits across the region, as we were talking through the community investment, the grant making program, who do incredible services and who are making sure that those who need those supports receive those supports. So we have more information. A full list of who those funded partners are can be found on our website. It's unitedwaysei.org. And additionally, in partnership with the United Ways across the state of Idaho, we helped launch findhelpidaho.org 2.5 years ago, which is a free, easy to use online tool to connect people to local resources and programs offering free and reduced cost support. So whether you're looking for help with utility bills, food, childcare, or other healthcare, this platform really helps you find trusted resources in just a few clicks. Because what we knew, as we kind of came out of the pandemic and the like, what we discovered is that our region here in Southeastern Idaho, we are resource rich, but we were connection poor. So we were doing such a good job at like having the resources, but there wasn't quick access or easy access, right, to find out what those were. We know as the nonprofits working together, if I was helping somebody because we're connected to each other, I could say, oh, you need to call Aid for Friends or you need to call Bannock Youth Foundation or, what have you. And so the Find Help Idaho concept really brought all of those moving pieces together under one roof to make it as easy and simple as possible to get connected to what you need when you need it.
That's great. That's great because sometimes the hard part is the navigation. It gets frustrating and overwhelming and you're already stressed. You're already stressed.
Right. And you think about the case of somebody who's, fleeing a not great situation. If you have to go from, here over there, nobody wants to tell that story any more times than they have to. And so this also feels like a little bit more of a confidential way, perhaps maybe is the way to say it, to get connected to what you need through some online navigation.
And that's great.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to start plugging that link every time I see something where somebody's like, I didn't even think about that till just now. So I appreciate the education.
We would love that. And there's more information on our website. So feel free to pull anything you want from there to get plugged in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'll be linking the website in the blog.
Okay.
So there'll be access right there. And when people listen to the podcast now, they'll have that. So that's great.
Awesome.
Well, it's along the same lines. Not everyone can donate money. So what are some impactful ways people can give back, especially here in our own neighborhoods in Eastern Idaho? That's
a great question. And, my personal belief is that time and talent are just as valuable as treasure, if not more so. Nonprofits literally run on volunteers. Nonprofits could not do the work that we do every single day without people who are willing to give so generously of their time. Time is a precious resource. And so There are some incredible organizations right here in our backyard who, like I said, couldn't do what they do without volunteers who help organize, pack and sort food pantries, who can use their expertise to perhaps offer free tutoring to school-aged youth and families who otherwise couldn't afford those services, to delivering Meals on Wheels. And so the list goes on and on. So many other meaningful ways to gift your time. Small actions really do make a huge difference. And if you don't know where to start, give us a call or stop in at the United Way. We will gladly help get you connected to some amazing opportunities.
Yeah, I know I'm always calling for volunteers.
Yeah.
I am the one going to the networking meetings, pushing nonprofit volunteers always. And I'm like, here's my information.
Yeah.
You know, you want to come volunteer. And we see a lot of people that are like, I'd love to help.
Yeah.
That's great because, you know, they could be in a single income household and they want to help, but they can't really budget that at this time.
Right.
So just their presence. I love that. I love the time and talent. That's a great way to put that. I see it. You see it. We see it every day of people that just have that heart that they want to give back. And, you know, there's nothing more inspiring than watching them just do all this amazing work. We see a lot of amazing things happen.
Yeah, we get to see it all the time.
I want everybody to see it. I'm sure you feel the same way. We're like, you just have to see how great it is. This community shows.
They really do.
Show
you
up
put a
for
call
each
to
other.
action out and people show up.
Every time.
Indefinitely, every time.
Every time. I love that. Well, do you have any local success stories or moments that remind you why you do what you do? Like your why, where you're like, I'm sure you have several, but any that just stick out that you're like, this just, you know, you're in the right place.
You know, I've had many of those moments throughout my career, but one that sticks out is a veteran, Samuel, for, in quotations, lack of other words, so we'll call him Samuel, who served his country with honor, but returned home to face a new battle, housing instability. Though employed and driven, Samuel was Alice, asset limited, income constrained, but employed. And after experiencing homelessness, he found shelter through SECA's Veterans Housing Program. And with support from case managers and community partners and his own determination, he secured stable employment with benefits in just weeks. And what I love most about Samuel's story is that beyond his personal success, he became a mentor and a source of hope for others in the SECA Veterans Shelter facing similar struggles. And his story reminds me that resilience and community support can literally transform lives. And I think that's exactly why we do this work. And that's one of many stories that have touched my heart in my nearly 20 years of, you know, having the privilege of being in this work. But I think that is just such a showcase about resilience, community support, and transforming lives.
That's awesome. I seriously, I see these types of situations often too, where one of the things I like to do is connect people with resources. So this is a great interview today because I'm like, yeah, you're giving me more resources. I've been in the situations, and then now that I'm an adult and can provide my own stability, I see a lot of times where I'm just like, you know, this person, the desires there, the capabilities there, it's just falling short just a little bit. And it's especially people with disabilities.
Right.
I see that a lot where it's like they don't get enough money. How do we help them to, you know, thrive? And so I love that. You're giving me a lot of great information. So I appreciate that so much. Well, my next question, what kind of partnerships or programs are you especially excited about right now?
Well,
you kind of talked about why.
There seems to be like a lot going on all the time. And this was another one of those questions, like, how do you just pick one? But one initiative that I'm particularly excited about is the work happening through the Kids First Coalition at Bannock County. So the KIDS is all caps in coalition, which stands for Keeping Idaho's Development Strong, and the upcoming launch of what we're calling the Tri-Share Model Pilot Program. So this innovative workforce development effort brings together several business leaders across our region who are deeply committed to tackling the pressing childcare challenges facing working families in Southeast Idaho. And while I can't share too many details just yet because the program hasn't officially launched, I can say that together with many community partners, again, it takes a village, we're building something truly exciting that will help keep Idaho's workforce and its future strong.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's really exciting.
Well,
so stay tuned.
I will stay tuned. I'm like, I love being involved with things like that. Well, since Pocatello is growing and evolving, what opportunities do you see on the horizon for community betterment?
This is such a good question. I believe we already have a strong connected community that we are proud to be a part of. And I believe the growth that we're experiencing opens the door to build on that foundation in really meaningful ways. Rather than reacting to change, we have a real opportunity to intentionally design more inclusive systems, from better housing and childcare access, as I just, briefly mentioned, to stronger workforce pathways and support services. And I know that the growth seems like it's happening really fast, and we're trying to keep up with it. But I think if we take the time to come together across sectors and perspectives, we can shape that growth in a way that reflects our shared values here in Pocatello and make this community even stronger for generations to come.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah.
I feel that I like how you said, rather than react. I am not a fan of change. I'm one of those people that's a creature of habit for sure. I do order different things when I go to restaurants. I don't eat the same thing at every single restaurant. I'm not one of those creatures of habit, but I do tend to resist change depending on where it's at.
Right.
And one thing that I've noticed is when people react before getting all of the information, they might change their mind. That's why I love, community outreach. It's like, go out and see, go out and witness for yourself, be a part of the change, be a part of the process.
Absolutely.
And you'll understand why it's so important. And, the community, I feel like every time I go somewhere, there's improvements everywhere I go. I'm like, wow, that place looks so much better. Or,
there's a new sign, or there's
Oh, with me, then I'm about to share a guilty story. When they closed Chubbuck Road, which we're still dealing with every once in a while, I stopped going that way, obviously, and started going the other way. Well, I didn't get to Chubbuck as much.
Yeah.
And now that I'm all over the place with my job, I'm going through Chubbuck and I'm like, when did that apartment complex pop up?
Same.
Or we have a new, I don't know if it was a cancer center or what. I was like, when did that pop up? Oh my gosh, I need to tune in and pay attention. So I do think that if you go out and, you be a part of the change, it really helps you to feel more okay or open-minded.
Right. Just to connect to it. I always say change is hard, change is scary, but change is good. And amazing opportunities are birthed out of change, And one of the things that I like to say is like, if we're not changing, we're being left behind.
Exactly. And, we don't want to be compared to communities near ours, but that's the thing is it happens a lot. And it's like, hey, no, we have so much happening here. Right. Just go out and see. I go to Chubbuck more often now.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I was like, oh, well, and some of my favorite places, like my favorite coffee shops. And
exactly.
One of my very favorites is there, two of them. And then I also have a client over there. So I have made it a point to go support that area a little bit more. So anyway,
there's some amazing things happening here and amazing things happening all the time, where we kind of are tuned into the chamber community. And so we're hearing about the ribbon cuttings and the after hours and how people are amplifying their business or opening new businesses or get involved, get connected to it, because there are some incredible things happening all the time.
Exactly. And we're both lucky as trailblazers to be able to be a part of that and witness it. And there's nothing cooler than watching somebody that just had started a new business and they're ribbon cutting and they're so excited. It's like the gleam is in their eye. I love that. I do.
Those are always fun.
We actually recently interviewed Nick Hotman.
Oh, yes.
And
love Nick.
I'm just like, and he approached us, which I thought was really cool. And I have been following his work the whole time.
He's incredible.
And it's like him and a few other people. I'm really good friends with Mark Daniels. They're beautifying this place. They're
sure
making
are.
it beautiful. I think everything happening here in historic downtown is amazing.
It's so good.
I'm constantly over here. I don't think I've been to Gate City Coffee without running into you.
We're
always in this part of town.
That's the good run in place.
Yeah, it is. And it's just, there's so much going on and you don't realize it when you don't get out and do stuff often. As a former, work at home, I did everything from home. Just even a few months, I was like, wow, this has changed. So I love that.
It happens fast.
It does. I know. All right. Well, Hello Pocatello is all about celebrating people who are making a difference. I actually am very happy to have you here because you are definitely making a difference in our community. And as I said before, it's very inspiring to watch. So as a local hero, I'd love to hear some of your heroes or local organizations that you'd love to shout out, which I know is hard because there's so many.
I know. I was like, I can't just like call out one or even a few because it's just like there's so many incredible people and organizations doing powerful work in our community that it's like, I feel like it's impossible to, I could run down the list of the funded partners we have because I think they're all amazing, but there's even more than that exists in our community that are amazing. And the people who power that work are incredible. I think the way to sum it up is that it truly takes a village to make the kind of impact we're seeing. And I just feel lucky to be a part of what I think is the best one. Maybe I have my own little biases, because I've been born and raised here and I haven't lived or worked in other communities, but I've, traveled enough and had enough exposure to other places that we really do have the best one. And that includes the amazing team at United Way of Southeastern Idaho, the 4 other ladies who work with me. Their dedication and passion inspire me every single day and how they show up and put in the work. And it's not always easy. We always try to have a good time, but that doesn't mean that the work is always easy. But I just feel so grateful to get to do this work with them every day.
It is a tough question, and we've asked
nobody ever calls it out.
Nobody can really just say, "Hey." So I'm just going to say, "How about your grandma?"
Right? Yeah, my grandma
taught
for
you
sure.
Service.
Yeah, she instilled the importance of service and ignited that spark inside me for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's a tough question, especially when you're really involved in the community. You're
Right.
like, how do I pick just one?
I know the list goes on and on.
Yeah, and then you think, oh, I forgot somebody. Yeah. So I like your answer. So we're just going to go with your grandma.
Okay. I love it. Let's do it.
Your grandma is the hero. Well, what's one challenge you wish more people in our area understood when it comes to poverty or financial insecurity?
It's a tough question. I mean, I have such a passion for the work and I see some of those perceptions, if you will, that I'm like, no, that's not like, we got to destigmatize that. But I think poverty is often seen as a permanent condition of, quote, others, when in fact, individuals and families cycle in and out of poverty due to job loss, illnesses, unexpected life changes, and ultimately poverty is not a personal failure. I believe it's a systemic issue. And I can't, speak on behalf of all of United Way or whatever. This is all just my personal beliefs, and relationships. You see me going constantly back to relationships because I believe both personal and community-wide relationships play a huge role in helping people navigate hardships and find stability. When people have strong support networks, access to resources, and opportunities to thrive, long-term change becomes possible. Period.
100%.
Yeah.
I do serve food often in different capacities.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't plug the agencies right now. Some of it's private.
Sure.
And one of the things I've noticed is, automatically people think if somebody's homeless, they must have done something to get there.
Made a bad decision.
Yeah. I can say firsthand, a lot of the people just have special needs and no resources. It's a passion project of mine. And it's something that can make me cry if I talk too much about it, because there are a lot of people that just don't have the resources. They don't have a network of people looking out for them. Something as simple as having severe autism with nobody to look out for you. I see that often. And one of the things that I feel is a misconception is homelessness, poverty. As somebody who's been in poverty situations that were one injury changed my whole life. So I think that misconception of you're going to be in poverty forever, sometimes that might be a stigma to them too. Sure. And they feel embarrassed. So
I
love your answer to that, because to me, going and seeing firsthand, some of these people, they just don't have the resources, or they can't. They're reliant on disability, and disability is not enough to live off of.
They have a physical impairment, and so that limits their earning.
Yeah.
Their earning power.
Yeah. And they can be just barely over to qualify. Actually, I'm dealing with this right now. Just barely over by $50 to qualify for Medicaid for somebody who really needs it, who needs the services. So that's something I will get up on a soapbox and talk all day.
I'll be right there with you.
We'll do that another day. We're going to do that. But I I love that, you said that the resources, access to resources and a support network
and a support system.
Support system is crucial. Anyway, and
I said it earlier. I know I wouldn't be where I am or have had access to the opportunities I did if it wasn't for the network and the relationships, and they matter more than we think.
And part of it is just the fact that we get out in the community and we do the things. Yeah. We get out, we do the things. I mean, I know that you were doing it even before United Way. I fell into nonprofit work I had a job. I generally end up in business development and marketing. Mm-hmm. And one of the things with networking is you join groups. Well, even after I didn't work there anymore, I just loved it.
Right.
I was like, I feel like I'm at home. Mm-hmm. I have met my family.
Yep.
And getting out and supporting and being the person that connects, like you connect a lot of people to resources. I do my best to do the same, but because people that care. So I know I'll go on and on about how great the people here are, and you're hitting the nail on the head with, what helps people to create those support networks. For a longtime locals and newcomers alike, how can we work together to build a stronger, more inclusive Pocatello?
I love this question because, again, it's rooted in connection and relationships. And I think listen to each other, show up, and get proximate to the issues and to the people impacted by them, because real change happens when we move forward in solidarity.
So true.
Yeah,
so
full
true.
Stop.
Full stop. Mic drop. Not really. You can't drop.
Yeah, I won't
mics.
drop your mic.
Yeah, I think
your husband
Keith
might
would get
kill
upset.
us.
Yeah, he loves those microphones. Well, what does being Pocatello proud mean to you, both professionally and personally?
To me, it means believing in the power of community and choosing every day to invest in it. I think following it up with that is the key piece. Personally, it's the pride I feel getting to raise my family here, surrounded by people who genuinely care about one another. Professionally, it's the honor of working alongside countless individuals and organizations who are committed to making this a place where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And it's about showing up. And I think most importantly, never losing sight of the good we can do together.
Right. Well, and I'd like to touch back to when you said your time and talent is just as valuable as your money.
That's it.
If your company can sponsor, by all means. But if you can't, or if you're an individual who just wants to be more involved, time and talent. I love that.
Time and talent.
I think that people have the desire. So I love that.
Yes.
Well, finally, on behalf of our Hello Pocatello listeners, thank you for your service, leadership, and heart. What keeps you hopeful for this community's future?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun to get to have this conversation. I'm feeling sad that it feels like we just kicked it off. It's coming to an end already.
Yeah.
But what keeps me hopeful is the people, the kindness, the grit, the willingness to lean in, even when it's hard. That's what makes me believe that the best is yet to come for Pocatello.
I agree. And we're sitting in these meetings. Yeah. We know what's happening. All it takes is, if you'd like, go ahead and reach out to me or Shantae.
Please.
We'd love to have you join us for any nonprofit event, meeting. There's so many opportunities. One of my personal favorites is the Chamber Champions meetings that we're missing right now.
I was going to say that's happening right now, isn't it?
Kirk. But that is one of my personal favorites for getting information. Being a part of the Chamber really does give you a lot of opportunity to learn what's going on. But you can even just follow from home. You can follow from home and go do your navigating. But there are so many opportunities to learn what's going on in the community. And there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of things happening, big things and exciting things.
And there's always something happening. Of nonprofits, we fundraise. We fundraise until the cows come home. And it takes so many people to put on a fundraiser. We're a small team of 5 at United Way, but we, do amazing fundraisers. And that's because of the people who team up with us, who give of their time and talent to put decorations together. You were talking about Mark earlier, Mark Daniels. Yeah. He builds some amazing props for some of the events that we do. And it just wouldn't be what it is without the people who are willing to join forces with us and make it happen.
Exactly. And we are all welcoming. We want everybody to join us, and it's fun. It's not just because anybody's like, oh, we need volunteers, it's a lot of fun. I have a blast. Every week there's something cool to do. So I really am glad that we got to talk about some of that. And as someone else who has a passion for the community, and I definitely see the heart here. I love that you use the word grit. I think it's so fun to get to know some of these people because, you know, I've literally have created a family from being a part of this community. There's people that I never met in my life and I call them my grandma, you know? So anyway, well, thank you so much. It's the
family we choose, right?
Yes, the family we choose. Yes. And again, contact me, my name is Amber Cook, contact Shantay Bloxham, United Way. You can find any of this information online. And you're always welcome. Come join us and see what, you know, being a part of your community is all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Arms are always open.
Always open. Please. We want to have you and you'll come back. You'll come back.
That's it.
The energy is there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And I'm so excited that you accepted my invitation. So we'll do this again. We're going to do this again. We sure will.
Absolutely.
And now we're going to, how many new things are we going to come up with off of just this conversation?
My mind's just spinning.
Same. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.